Hey everyone, this is Robin Graves, and this is The World According to Graves, or my way of pissing people off. Mike, guess what? We're started again. 47 Ronin. I love Keanu Reeves. This guy's amazing. He's an amazing actor, very low profile, and he's not trying to be a dumpster fire, of a pundit for CNN. And it's just a damn good movie. Give it a shot sometime. It's kind of a take on the Seven Samurai, seven gunslingers, whatever. This was based on that story. It's a little more the Japanese style. You actually have really cool things in it. So, hey, Pepsi, fuck you. Come talk to me. See, you get the sound going. And there we go. Came off. Little sippage here. There we go. A lot of you out there have told me I need to go back into talking politics. Um, I have been. Unfortunately, for the whole situation at hand, COVID-19 is politics. It has separated us worse than Obama ever did. And guess what, lefties? Trump had nothing to do with it. You guys are helping separate everybody. Your little CNN, and them talking about things like they're experts when they don't know shit. They've done nothing but spread fear, and a lot of people have walked right into it. They have supposed inside information, but they won't say who it's from because it's not from anybody. It's made up. And whenever a journalist, I use the term very goddamn loosely. Anytime a journalist decides that they're going to tell you something they got from an unnamed source, it's highly suspect. Name your sources or don't say it. You lose credibility. I don't subscribe to people like oh golly, some Hollywood dumpster fire of a celebrity giving their dumpster fire of an opinion. These people are actually experts on anything. They wouldn't be actors. That's you have to think a little bit here, folks. This whole thing, you need, if you do your own research instead of letting everybody else do research for you, CNN, MSNBC, maybe even Fox News, maybe you'll find out some things. But the whole thing has been nothing but politics. I mean, so far, you've got every politician in the world out there deciding they're going to decide what you have to think, what you have to do, what you need to do. That Beetlejuice looking dyke in Chicago is a perfect example. Telling everybody how, that if they don't do what she says, she's going to fine them $1,100 for not wearing a mask. Every doctor I've spoken to has said the masks don't really matter. You're going to be infected anyway. You're not going to die. I've had it, and I've got underlying morbidity. I've got heart disease and diabetes. I ran a fever, felt run down, little wheezing. Of course, I did have a pneumonia vaccination about a year before, which probably stopped the pneumonia. When I've seen people without a pneumovax having it, and they're just fine. I've spoken to a lot of people who've had it, and they don't really know anybody who's been hospitalized under the age of 40. The main thing is 65 and older, just like influenza. Underlying conditions, just like influenza. Uh, Nursing homes, just like influenza. I mean, good grief, man. The flu itself is a nightmare if you're in a nursing home. And all these places, like New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, California, telling nursing homes they got to take in COVID-19 patients. And it's wiping out the elderly. It seems to me that they're not happy with doing abortions. Let's get rid of the old people too. So, but anyway, to all you Karens out there that have berated me because I'm telling you the facts on things instead of repeating CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, because I'm telling you something that these so-called specialists who have no clue what they're talking about, are saying to you that I'm discrediting them. I'm about to discredit some more. I've got some stuff here from some actual specialists here. I'm going to tell you who they are and everything, but let's get to the first one. I want to get these out of the way. I've got a few other things I want to talk about here. Dr. Sukaret Bhakti is a specialist in microbiology. He was a professor at the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz, the head of the Institute for Medical Microbiology and Hygiene, and one of the most cited research scientists in German history. This is exactly what he says, and I quote, "We are afraid that 1 million infections with the new virus will lead to 30 deaths per day over the next 100 days. But we do not realize that 20, 30, 40, or 100 patients positive for normal coronaviruses are already dying every day. The government's anti-COVID measures are grotesque, absurd, and very dangerous. The life expectancy of millions is being shortened. The horrifying impact on the world economy threatens the existence of countless people. The consequences on medical care are profound. Already services to patients in need are reduced. Operations canceled, practices empty, hospital personnel dwindling, and this will impact profoundly on our whole society. All these measures are leading to self-destruction and collective suicide based on nothing but a spook." Yeah, you've seen, we've heard about all these hospitals that are overflowing with COVID-19 patients. Where? Which one's dead? Everybody's talking about New York. They're going to be swamped. We need more hospitals. When hospitals were put up by the Army, never saw anybody. They were never taken in because the real hospitals didn't have that many people. Right now, hospitals are laying off staff because they're not needed. Nobody's coming in. They're afraid. Nobody's coming in for regular surgeries. Nobody's coming in for the regular treatments for anything, regular doctor's appointments, nothing. Because they're so afraid if they stick their heads outside, they're going to die. It's gotten dumb. And this is the state of our politics today. Them telling you that you're going to die and all this. They're telling you how this is happening, that's happening. All these people are going to die. I got news for you, man. Nancy Pelosi went out to Chinatown and told everybody, come on out. It's safe. This is nothing. Come on out. And now we see what's happening. You guys don't want to remember that because, well, it was passed yesterday. I've noticed some of the Democrats. They'll do something today, a week later say they never did it, and a lot of you Democrats out there agree with them because you have that much of a memory. They expect it from you not to think for yourselves. Told you I was only a savage. I'll get worse before it's over. Now, all you Karens out there want to sit around and point fingers at everybody and yell and scream somebody's not wearing a mask because they're not observing social distancing. You know what? It must be nice to be fucking perfect. It must be nice to be the thought police like you are. Here you are, you're following right in with the bullshit and everything. You're belittling everybody into wearing a mask, shaming them into living like you do so that they can wear a mask and be the police for other people too. Got news for you, Karens. Come talk to me. I don't mind yelling back at your stupid faces. I do all the time anyway. Let's talk to somebody else. Let's see somebody else here. Dr. Wolfgang Wodarg. I butchered his name. It's Wolfgang, Wodarg. He's a German physical specialist in pulmonology, politician and former chairman of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. In 2009, he called for an inquiry into alleged conflicts of interest surrounding the EU response to the swine flu pandemic. I remember that. I had swine flu back in 2009. You people saying that Trump's incompetent, he's this, that, the other. He acted too late. He acted on WHO information, who they dropped the ball, not Trump. All he knew is what he's being advised to do. He's not a virologist. He's not a doctor. He's the president. That's all he is. So I remember 2009, I had N1H1, swine flu. What did Obama do about it? Not a goddamn thing. I still traveled to Europe and back, quite a bit back in 2009. What did he do about the Ebola? Not a goddamn thing. So don't tell me that he was the perfect person and Trump fucked up, because that's not what happened. Well, let's see what Dr. Wolfgang here has to say. Politicians are recorded by scientists. Scientists who want to be important and get money for their institutions. Scientists who just swim along in the mainstream and want their part of it. And what is missing right now is a rational way of looking at things. We should be asking questions like, how did you find out this virus is dangerous? How was it before? Didn't we have the same thing last year? Is it even anything new? That's what's missing in people in conversations. It's all, you got too many. I have problems. Excuse me, with Dr. Fauci. I have some severe problems with that guy. Dr. Fauci is playing it up to Trump so bad. He has played up to the Clintons. He's played up to Obama. He's sucked up to Bill Gates, to Ted Turner. All of those people who believe that we need to get rid of population. He said they're talking about how, well, you guys are opening up, you're going to create a third or second wave and kill everybody. Got news for you, man. Here in Georgia, numbers are dropping. Numbers are dropping here. Out of the 400 and something thousand that have been tested, less than a quarter are actually positive, and that was previous to reports that, oh, that's only because they were exposed before opening. Now that we opened, it's dropping. In fact, we've had several days without anybody dying. Hospital stays are dropping. Fewer people in hospitals. Testing is rampant here. But I told you about the testing. I'm not going to get into that today. It's wasting time here. I want to get to a few things here, but in all honesty, Dr. Fauci has worked for the government for 50 years plus. He has not seen patients in decades. He's been nothing but an advisor. He doesn't know what a person, how these people are reacting. He's living in a bubble. He's talking at best, his best estimations, without seeing what's going on. So don't believe a goddamn thing Fauci has to say. I sure don't. I research myself. I go look at other people. I read between the lines. I take both sides and I see what's in common. So let's talk to another person. Dr. Joel Kettner, professor of community health sciences and surgery at Manitoba University, former chief public health officer for Manitoba province. For those who don't know, that's Canada. That's in Canada. In case some of you didn't know. He was the medical director for the National Center for Infectious Diseases there. This is what he has to say. Let me get this going over here. I've never seen anything like this, anything anywhere near like this. I'm not talking about the pandemic because I've seen 30 of them, one every year. It's called influenza and other respiratory illnesses and viruses. We don't always know what they are, but I've never seen this reaction, and I'm trying to understand why. I worry about the message to the public, about the fear of coming into contact with people, being in the same space as people, shaking their hands, having meetings with people. I worry about many other consequences related to that. In Hubei, the province of Hubei, where there have been most cases and deaths by far, remember this, the actual number of cases reported is 1 per 1,000 people, and the actual rate of death reported is 1 per 20,000. So maybe we should help to put things into perspective. Yeah, I actually spoke to some people yesterday who actually believed if you get COVID-19, you're going to die. They have actually been watching the media and listening to Dr. Fauci and listening to leftist politicians. I told them I had it. I have underlying morbidity that, according to the politicians, it should have killed me. It wasn't that bad. My wife had it at the same time. She had it less than I did. There's people out there who believe that once you get it, that's it. You're gone. You're going to die. It's a deadly pandemic. Yeah, the only thing deadly is the stupidity spread by politicians and the media. So let's let's talk about one more, and we're going to move on to something else because this guy actually says it pretty well. Dr. John Ioannidis, professor of medicine and health services and policy and biomedical data science at Stanford University School of Medicine and a professor of statistics at Stanford University School of Humanities and Sciences. Hey, guys involved in humanities, you lefties ought to believe everything he says. He is director of the Stanford Prevention Research Center and co-director of the Meta Research Innovation Center at Stanford, known as Metrics. He is also editor-in-chief of the European Journal of Clinical Investigation. He was the chairman of the Department of Hygiene and Epidemiology, University of Ioannina School of Medicine. I butchered that name so bad. School of Medicine, as well as adjunct professor at Tufts University School of Medicine. As a physician, Scientist and author, he has made contributions to evidence-based medicine, epidemiology, data science, and clinical research. In addition, he has pioneered the field of meta-research. He has shown that much of the published research does not meet good scientific standards of evidence. Here's what he has to say. Patients who have been tested for SARS-CoV-2 are disproportionately those with severe symptoms and bad outcomes. As most health systems have limited testing capacity, selection bias may even worsen in the near future. The one situation where the entire closed population was tested was the Diamond Princess cruise ship and its quarantined passengers. The case fatality rate there was 1.0%, but this is largely a largely elderly population in which the death rate from COVID-19 is much higher. 1.0%, that's 1%, and these were elderly people. Could COVID-19 case fatality rate be that low? No, some say pointing to the high rate in elderly people. However, some so-called mild or common cold type coronaviruses that have been known for decades could have case fatality rates as high as 8%. When they infect elderly people in nursing homes, look at the flu, look at the yearly cold, the cold season, look at all of that. That's wiping them out. And then COVID-19 comes along, 2%. Go think about it. Now remember, nursing homes, very old, very sick, very weak people. So, if we had known about a new virus out there and had not checked individuals with PCR tests, the number of total deaths due to influenza-like illness would not seem unusual this year. At most, we have casually noted that flu this season seems to be a bit worse than average. Geez, a fiasco in the making. The coronavirus pandemic, it's we're making decisions without reliable data, and the media and our politicians are causing this to happen. There's been a lot of data, a lot of information that's come out that's been suppressed. I actually got that from a guy from the CDC. They've actually said that they are not allowed to release some of the information coming out. And some of this information, funnily enough, is information making the politicians and CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News wrong. That's what's weird. So, he also says, this is another guy, Dr. Yoram Lass. This is the last one I'm going to do, then I want to go to something else real quick before we wrap up. As an Israeli, Dr. Yoram Lass is an Israeli physician, politician, and former director of General of the Health Ministry. He's also worked as Associate Dean of the Tel Aviv University Medical School, and during the 1980s presented the science-based television show Tatzbit. What he says, this is interesting. I think I need to read this to you. Italy is known for its enormous morbidity and respiratory problems. Yes. More than 3 times any other European country. In the U.S., about 40,000 people die in a regular flu season, and so far 40 to 50 people have died of the coronavirus, most of them in a nursing home in Kirkland, Washington. This was done about a month ago, I believe. In every country, more people die from regular flu compared with those who die from the coronavirus. There's a very good example that we all forget, the swine flu in 2009. Yes, I remember it well. I had it. That was a virus that reached the world from Mexico, and until today, there is no vaccination against it. But what? At what time? There was no Facebook, and there maybe was, but it was still in its infancy. 2009, yes, it still is infancy, yes. The coronavirus, in contrast, is a virus with public relations. Yes, whoever thinks the government's ends viruses is wrong. Our government's not going to end this virus for us. The only thing that's going to end this virus for us is ourselves. I do believe in herd immunity. I have seen it happen in the past. COVID-19 is a perfect example. There's a lot of us who get it. You get antibodies in your system. You don't get it again. I don't care what CNN or some puke of a Hollywood elite has told you. You have 3 doctors that I talk to normally, 3 doctors who are pretty right, and a guy from the CDC have all informed me that once you have it, you have the antibodies in your system to fight it back off. You can get it again, but you have to pretty much try, such as tickling the tonsils of somebody who has it with your tongue. It's pretty much how you're going to catch it again. And then it's still pretty low chance. So this bullshit you've been hearing that, yes, you can get it again, it'd be 10 times worse. No, it's not. There have been no credible cases of anybody getting it a second time. So drop that idea altogether. Now I'm going to tell you about something else that's kind of bothering me. Like I said, coronavirus is politics. It has turned into a political situation. The Democrats always believe don't let a crisis go to waste. They're promoting anything they can. They're blaming Trump for it. Trump caused it. Trump caused it. Trump didn't cause shit. China did. And yes, I will call it the China virus. I don't care how politically incorrect it is. China caused it to happen. Here recently, Donald Trump admitted that he's been taking hydroxychloroquine. When I saw the interview, he says he's been taking it about a week. You have people on CNN, MSNBC throwing a screaming fit. Yeah, Fredo, or whatever his name is, Cuomo, going completely nuts and everything, saying that it's unsafe, it's this, it's that, it's the other. I've taken it before. I've taken a mass amount before. Supposedly, according to Joey Behar on The View, it makes you psychotic. He's been taking it for 3 years then. No, being on The View and not being slapped around like the cunt you are makes you psychotic, Joey. Now, Fredo Cuomo wants to go and talk a lot of shit about this. The problem with Cuomo, I'm going to explain to you people out there who watch this puke. He barely knows what he's doing as a journalist. He's not a doctor. He's not a medical professional. Has no idea of medicine whatsoever than the pills that he's being prescribed for some malady he has, if he imagines something. Neil Cavuto on Fox News is the perfect example of why I don't watch Fox News. Going berserk, talking about how it's unhealthy, talking all kinds of shit about Trump now that he's taking hydroxychloroquine, which has been proven to work. In fact, Costa Rica is using it on a regular basis on coronavirus patients. Texas has used it. The state of Texas has had great effects on people with coronavirus, COVID-19, the Chinese flu, whatever you want to call it. The only reason the pharmaceuticals companies are against it is because, well, they're not going to make money off of it. It's not something new. It's not a vaccine. They can charge your insurance or you personally a shitload because it's going to save your life and keep you from dying. People follow the money. Follow what's being said, who's saying it, and why they're saying it. I don't see anybody out there doing that. They're panicking and going crazy because Trump's taking hydroxychloroquine. Well, yeah. I know a lot of people that have taken it. I grew up in the military. Almost everybody in the military's taken it. In fact, everybody in the military's taken it. Depending on where you go. I've had so many shots living in the military, it's not funny. When I was younger, I even got shots for something that pregnant sheep in New Zealand get. I think the common thing that they call it in New Zealand is like licky end or something. I'm not for sure. But because it could be transferred to a human who's pregnant, and I'm human, I had to get shots for it. I never questioned the military's logic. There's no use. They don't explain anything. But they're throwing a fit about him. But you know what? You're not saying a word about these journalists taking uppers, taking these little painkillers, getting massively drunk. You never hear anybody complain about the politicians and Nancy Pelosi putting Botox in their face, putting a toxin in their face to even out lines so that people won't think they're getting old. To me, Nancy looks tired. I think it's time for her to go to sleep someplace. You never hear these people complaining about some Hollywood elite being on cocaine or ecstasy. But Trump does something at by doctor's orders, under a doctor's supervision, and everybody explodes. They want to talk about how he's being stupid. Well, you know what? If he dies, you guys got your wish. If the hydroxychloroquine kills him, all you lefties, man, you get your wish, so quit your bitching, man. Jesus Christ. Like I said, this whole thing of COVID-19 is political. It's all politics. It's a it's somebody got a cold, and political leaders decided to push their weight around telling you what you need to think. I'm going to answer a question here before I go. There's a lot of people who are complaining that businesses won't let them in without a mask, that they're going to sue. You can't. I'm sorry to tell you. The main thing with a business main law is to provide facilities. That's pretty much for any business. They cannot they cannot discriminate against you for any reason unless it's religion, uh, a protected reason that you're handicapped, you're not white, and reasonably lately because you're gay. Gays are not protected, by the federal government. I'm wondering when I'm going to be protected. I'm 52, about to be 53. I'm over 40 years old. I'm in my so-called golden years. I'm middle-aged, but I'm not protected. I have a lot of medical issues, still not protected, but that's neither here nor there. I can deal with it. But no, businesses can tell you not to come in if you're not wearing a mask. They found that loophole to belittle you and be the mask police, telling you how you have to live your life. The thing is with businesses doing this, that's a double-edged sword for them. They're denying your patronage, denying your money there, denying you shopping there, denying your business period. And they think they're doing something good because you have to wear a mask to go in. If you don't wear a mask, they'll chase you out like the good thought police they are. But something they're not taking into account. A lot of people are stopping going to a lot of these places, like Costco. They're losing customers. There was a pharmacy, I think it was Walgreens, that decided to quit making people wear masks because their numbers weren't adding up right. They were losing money. So, a business wants you to wear a mask. It's your decision whether or not to use that business. Remember that. It is your decision whether or not to use that business. And they piss off enough people who won't use their business. They no longer have a business. So honestly, they're not hurting you being the thought police. They're not hurting you trying to, while they're shaming you, they're hurting their bottom dollar. They're willingly hurting themselves. So yeah, find somewhere else to go. Go someplace where they're not going to try to shame you and let everybody know that the other place did. They will lose customers. And even when they decide that they're going to let you come in without a mask, remember what they did to you. Remember what they did to this guy over here, and go somewhere else. Let's see who's not too big to fall. Anyway, guys, leave a like and subscribe, please. It does my channel good. I'll catch you guys next week. My name is Robin Graves. This has been The World According to Graves. I love every one of you. You're all family to me. You guys take care of yourselves and be kind to one another. And most of all, remember to talk hard. See you.